year is 1912. The Titanic is finally ready to set sail after about 3 years of construction and is labeled the most luxurious ship at the time. Passengers were to include many wealthy and famous people, such as Isidor Straus, the co-owner of Macy's. On April 10, 1912, the RMS Titanic set off on its maiden voyage from Southampton, England to New York City. While the Titanic never even made it to its final destination, it has never been forgotten in the 105 years that have passed since the sinking. On April 15, 1912, the Titanic sank into the North Atlantic Ocean. Today I'm going to talk about what led up to the sinking of the ship, what transpired during the chaos, and the aftermath of this tragic event. First, I will talk about the events that led up to the sinking of the Titanic and why it hit the iceberg. For the first bit of the voyage, the weather was clear and the ocean was peaceful and calm. On April 12, 2 days into the voyage, the Titanic received several warnings from other ships about upcoming icebergs. Despite these warnings, the captain and crew ignored the messages and refused to change the original route. At 11:40 p.m. on April 14th, the words "iceberg right ahead" were spoken, and only seconds later, the Titanic struck an iceberg. This leads us into what occurred after the impact of the iceberg. Almost immediately after the Titanic hit the iceberg, the lower decks began to quickly fill with water, and it soon became clear that the so-called unsinkable ship would in fact sink. The panic amongst the 2,208 passengers soon set in, and eventually the first lifeboat was lowered, holding only 28 women and children out of the 65 that the lifeboat could actually hold. And only 20 lifeboats were aboard when the ship was actually meant to hold 32. Within a couple of hours, the propellers of the ship were high in the air, and passengers began to jump from the ship in an attempt to swim to lifeboats, though very few were successful. At around 2:20 a.m. on April 15th, the ship labeled unsinkable split in half and plummeted to the bottom of the North Atlantic Ocean, and I have included a video of this.
We're starting to see the stern come up. We got our maximum peak stress, and yeah, boom, brakes. Okay, bow swinging down, that was good. The double keel hang on, and then they separate. Bow plunges straight down. All right, we got mast snapping back, the funnels are working backward, pulling off all the davits. Bow's going down like a torpedo. Here's the angle when it falls through into a stable position. Let's see the stern. Heeling way over to port, that looks right. And she goes, yep, that's right. She goes almost vertical just when she goes under, and then boom, implodes. Now she accelerates, and all the stuff starts to rip off. You see the shell plating going, there goes the double bottom frisbeeing off. And then the stern's falling through. So now the stern's falling aft and down. And we see the spiraling. Here comes the bow.
The loss and the aftermath of this event is truly tragic. At a rescue ship, the Carpathia started to take passengers from lifeboats onto their ship, though not all of them survived. The Titanic set off from Southampton, England, with about 2,208 people aboard. 1,503 of these passengers never made it home. The sinking of the Titanic is known as one of the world's most memorable tragic events. Now you know why the Titanic hit the iceberg, what happened during the sinking, and the aftermath. This event went down in history and will continue to be remembered and studied for years to come.